Right now, we're reading both. Have to.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First time ever. Well, we have a fee. We can't do it with liquid. They won't settle all out, and we can't just use dry for some reason.
Today is Tuesday, September 17th, 2019, 6
Yeah.
p.m. This is a regular meeting. The Greensburg Water Board be called to order. To comply with the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary anonymous survey that is available on the table in the back of the room. Donna, have roll call.
Chuck,
Here.
Tony,
Here.
Frank,
Here.
Ryan,
Here.
Rob.
Here. Minutes from August 20th meeting were distributed in your packet. Is there any objections or corrections to the minutes as distributed? If not, they'll be accepted. New business, HNTB update, Darren.
Tell you quickly, and then I got some construction photos we go through. Kind of where we're at on some of the administrative things. I think we've approved roughly 69 shop drawings, unfortunately for me, of 824, so we still got a ways to go. I think we've also looked at and are responding to 39 RFIs. RFIs stand for request for information from the contractor, asking questions, either trying to understand the contract documents or changes they would potentially make. That some are at no cost, some are thing. We haven't had any confirmed yet change order items yet, but I would say at this point we've had a couple that actually are deducts that we're looking at, so not a lot of money, but there may be a little there. So we've had I think our second construction meeting was on September 5th. I think you do have a pay request in front of you for that covers the first couple months of that. You'll probably be getting those on a monthly basis from here on out. We have set up to have an additional to our monthly construction meeting. We're going to have a call in every 2 weeks to kind of go through and just so it's basically to mark everybody's calendar if there's any questions with some submittals they have or RFIs or that sort of thing. So instead of just meeting on a monthly basis, we're kind of doing it in between there as we get started through this first process of all, where we have a lot of shop drawing reviews and that sort of thing, so we can try to keep ahead of the game and keep the contractor on schedule. So kind of where they're at, they've completed the excavation for the clear well, as well as the pump electric building and the foundation for the water treatment plant number 4. Concrete's been placed for most of the wet well for the pump electric building. We'll show some photos of that. I don't have an update. They poured concrete on Monday. I don't think I have pictures from Monday, but that was the second of the 2 pours for the concrete walls on the wet well pump station there. They're currently, should finish up probably today on setting of micro piles for the clear well. Those are basically piles driven 30 feet down into the soil. It creates a support bed for the slab foundation. We went with a micro pile so that it shrinks up. Instead of having 30 inches of concrete for that foundation, you can go to, I think it's 18 or 20. So by going deeper with these micro piles, it's a better support system. So that's moving forward. I think they're looking to, in the next month, pour the slab for that clear well slab, as well as the slab for the pipe valley, the lowest slab under the treatment plant building, and probably put the top slab on the clear well as well, so, or the pump station clear well. So that's kind of looking forward next month or so. So I'll walk over here. Hopefully you guys can hear me without the microphones. Everybody, if I stand here, maybe I'll slide this back here. I didn't see that now.
Back it up just a bit more.
A little more?
Yeah, so that I can get the screen.
How's that?
Stand up there where you're going to stand.
I'm gonna stand right here.
That's good.
All right. Here's a photo. This is drilling the piles for the earth retention. This is the location kind of, it's just north of the existing plant number 3 and to the very east side of the property. These are steel piles that were driven to create an earth retention system. Basically, it's a form to hold the dirt back so they can create the hole for the clear well. And there you can see a couple more. You can kind of see the turn they're making there in the southeast corner. You can see the house in the background there, and those piles are pretty much right on the property line. And there you can see the lagging being installed, the first 4 feet of that. And those are basically large timbers attached between the piles, and that's what holds the earth back. There's some more. I think we're pretty close to the bottom at that side there. That's on the east side. This is excavation. This is the area here. You kind of see where the clear wells go. And then this excavation over here is where the pump station is. This is a while back, a couple weeks ago. Then they're at about final grade, right? In this area again, this corner. We did have a little water that we ran into. You can see a little bit there. It has been very dry, so they did end up, and I don't think they have it in this photo, about in this corner right in here, they put in a small sump pump, and they trenched a little French drain in along the perimeter here, and that's really dried up the site, so I was actually pleasantly surprised. This may look like a lot of water, but it's not. And here they're starting to drill the first micro pile. Again, they're drilling this and they're sticking this concrete and rebar piling about, I think it goes down roughly 25 feet or so. So that's what will support the slab for the clear well. And you can kind of see, it's hard to see on this photo, but there is there's a pile here, here, here. They're about every, let's say 6.5, 7 feet apart, 8 feet.
There's 125 of them, I think.
125, the rig knows, to support this whole, the whole tank. So there's several of them that drill. So. There's kind of the length of how long they are. And then this is a mechanism that they had to test. We required them to do a testing on one of them to make sure it had, what we're trying to do is, so it didn't have any uplift and would be able to support. So they have this thing here where they're attaching so they can pull a force and try to pull this out. Basically, after you put it in the ground, they try to pull it out of the ground and see how much force it takes and if it has any movement. And that's the setup to do that. And then you can see how precision they get, how they're testing how much movement. We're talking about thousandths of an inch in some cases. So we didn't, that's, as long as that test passed, we have very similar soil conditions across the entire site. So we're pretty confident that once we have one test that we shouldn't have any failures. So that's where they spent a lot of time last month. And here they're just pouring some more, putting concrete in those after they drilled them out. And we'll move on to the pump station. Well, this is the deepest excavation of the site. So we are right at about the bottom of the excavation there. As you can see, there is a little bit of water. Again, not a whole lot to worry about. And here we are they're pouring the concrete slab for that wet well. You can see, I don't know if I can but you can see lots of rebar in the walls. This is just a wet well is basically, we got some pumps and that's where they'll pull the water, after it comes off, they'll pull from the clear well. So once the treatment plant makes the water through the filters and makes the water, treats the water, it will be stored in the clear well, which is going to be the tank behind that. And then it will flow into this wet well, and that's where the water will pump, or the pumps will pump it into the distribution system. So this will all be finished water. Both of these tanks will have finished water in. There's a slab placed. They are curing the concrete with what they call wet cure. Basically means for 7 days they have to keep water on it and keep it saturated so that concrete cures better with water. The more water present, the more the concrete will cure. So they're using a wet cure. It's easier to do on a slab. The walls are going to use a product that they can put on it instead of using water cure for it. So. And they're forming up the rebar for the walls for the pump station. Again, most of these mats were actually tied on the ground and then lifted into place. Most of what you see there is just finish up a few ties to tie everything together, so they didn't have to spend an entire time hanging off the wall like that. And this is a second shot. They poured that pump station wet well in 2 pours. You can see the first pour here to the left is done, and they're forming up the second pour here, and I believe they poured that on Monday. So that tank is now, the walls have been poured for that. And there's just another shot. If you look close, you can see all these piles in place at this point. The brick center at 25, and then you can see here's the wall for the pump station. This is the sump pit for the water treatment plants underneath the pipe gallery. This is the lowest level in the treatment plant. Again, we got a little sump there for the drains that we can pump water out. Any water gets in the bottom of that building there. And now we're putting in the drain lines, or the floor drains. You can see the plumbing in their place. It will all tie back into this pit. Here they're setting the pipe sleeves. These are the pipes that will allow water from the clear well into the pump station wet well. And then here they are setting the slab, getting ready to set the form. They've got the forms being set for the water treatment plant pipe gallery. This is a T-shaped excavation, the T-shaped basement. So you got a long, narrow, and later on there'll be filters on both sides of this, the bottom half of the T, and then this upper half of the T will be kind of a corridor that connects the filter area to the area to where this crane setting now will be the office area, the lab, and the offices, lab, locker rooms, that sort of thing. What I consider the office side of the treatment plant, along with the chemical feed rooms, will be along the west and north side as well. So that's it. Any questions? I went through that pretty fast. So any other photos you want to see again?
Look like they're making good headway.
They are, so far I would say that the weather's been great for them the last month or so. We haven't had a lot of rain. It's perfect. It hasn't been too terribly hot. They have real good that they have IMI, the guys that apply the concrete are only basically less than 7 miles away. So I asked them, I said, have you got commitments for them? And they said, yeah, they're committed to provide all our concrete. So that's a plus too. They can schedule a bigger pools that way. They don't have to worry about the concrete getting too hot in transit. So that's to the variance. If all goes well, I would say that they will have both of these structures, all three of these structures, up out of the ground before winter, so that will enable them to continue to work throughout the winter too. So yeah, right now I think they're a little ahead of schedule on a few things. I don't think they're behind on anything. They're trying to push a few things. They got a couple things. They changed the foundation for the pump and electrical building. We agreed to them to allow us more of a step thing so that they can bring the fill up a little quicker, so they can backfill a little faster and work on some of the other areas, so they don't have to wait for that to cure in 28 days. So we should be getting, I haven't seen brakes back yet, but concrete looks good. I haven't had any issues so far with the on-site testing they did for air and slump tests. So, and I would have known if they had any 7-day brakes that were bad. So they'll do some brakes at 7, 21, and 28 days, I believe is what they're doing. So we'll have some of those days. We should be getting some of those 21 and 28 days back here shortly, so we can make sure the concrete looks well. So other than that, we're proceeding.
Sounds good. Thanks, Darren. Rick, nothing?
No, sir. Saving money.
No trucks?
Anybody else have anything to bring before the board? Mayor?
Moving along, you guys need to just stop out there and look at it.
Looks good. Board members?
No, sir.
Adjourned.